water, roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Capano,
Present.
Commissioner Calucci is absent, Commissioner Ellis, Commissioner Prudian,
Present.
and Commissioner Trahan.
Present. Minutes of previous meeting,
Motion to accept.
Second.
motion made, seconded. Roll call.
Sure, Commissioner Capano,
Yes.
Commissioner Calucci is absent, Commissioner Ellis,
Yes.
Commissioner Prudian,
Yes.
and Commissioner Trahan.
Yes. Project update, Bob Tina?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the plant met all permit requirements for the month of December. Flow was 17.87 MGD. We had 2.63 inches of rain. All our VOD, TSS removals, loadings were all fine. Borelix Farms is doing well, and that's my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Bob? You have no questions? Water treatment plant, Rick?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Water and Sewer Commission is in compliance with all federal and state drinking water regulations. The water supply capacity as of yesterday was 58%. The average for this time of year is 69%. 9 of the 10 contract positions at the water treatment plant are currently filled. Veolia Water is still looking for an operator, and has not been able to fill that position. And Mark Lane has been maintaining to fill open positions and to help with the laboratory services. That's what I'm
Questions for Rick? Did you guys fill the positions up there? You had, 1 or 2 open?
Well, there's just the one, the operator position, they have not been able to fill it, but Mark Elaine, who retired, is staying on to fill the position on a part-time basis, and to help out with the laboratory as well, laboratory services.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, that shows the strong commitment our employees have for the people of the,
I don't wanna interrupt you with this, Dave, but they're not our employees.
yeah, they're still under contract with us, so in a way they are.
Okay, thanks for that. CSO update. Who's gonna take that?
Yes, me, Anthony, Tony, but before we do that, just gotta give an update on the water system and some of the leaks we've had with the crazy weather. We have in excess of 20 leaks out there. Water Department, Muggsy doing a great job expediting the repair of the leaks. Again, there's about 20. Some of the homeowners, which are from the box to the home, but most of them are from the box to the shutoff, from the main to the shutoff, or the main in the street, or a hydrant branch, or what have you. So we're working on them. Last week we spent exorbitant amount of money on overtime trying to attack them. We have to do that. Public health, public safety is a top priority, and the size of the mains and the hydrant connections, obviously, with the volume of water, we try to prioritize in addition to public health and public safety. But it's been a difficult couple weeks, and we're doing the best we can. And Water Department is in Muggsy.
I was gonna wait till the end. I just wanna thank, you, Dan, and Anthony for the response during the storm. And also, you know, the men, that are working out in the field there, it's unbelievable. Everywhere you look, there seems to be a leak
Right.
down there. Alley Street, Marine Boulevard, Solomon, Summer Street, Linden Street, all over the place, and they're doing it.
Right,
They're out there
right,
doing it.
right.
That's good.
Thank you, thank you.
Do the best you can, Dan, that's all.
Yeah.
All right.
And the men also, I give them credit.
Okay. You wanna take the CSO?
CSO, I can give you a brief overview. Tony's here and Anthony's here. So we ultimately finalized the contract with Stantec relative to the $100,000 reduction to $599, and they reduced a certain percentage of the 90% of the borings and 50% of the survey, as I formed you in my memo. And we're proceeding with that outline. We signed the contract towards the end of December, I believe, once we hashed out some of the questions. And we have a project meeting this week with Stantec and Tony, and we're moving forward.
Yeah, let me ask you one question now. With these borings, is that gonna hurt us, or are we gonna have to do it down the road, or what's gonna happen with that?
We're gonna have to do them eventually.
So it's not really a savings.
It's not what?
It's not really a savings if we've got to do it.
Well, it's a savings off the $699 to $599, but we're gonna have to pay later on, so,
Pay me now, pay me later.
well, yeah, we're gonna do borings.
But
We're gonna do borings later on.
Is that gonna hurt us, not doing the borings?
No, we made sure in the contract language that we let Stantec and Tony know that you have to comply with the state guidelines and the state letter that outlined the requirements. and they said they're gonna comply with it. So we're gonna submit 30% plans and specs, and we're gonna do all the geotechnical information, and we're gonna do all that information, and they'll have it. And that's all we can go by at this point.
We have somebody from Sandtech here tonight. My question is this, isn't that going to allow you to define whether there are areas going forward for the final design as to whether those borings need to be done, number one? And with the weather we have now, to be doing that large amount of borings out there would be almost impossible. So there could be savings, you might find that a street doesn't even need it. So if you do it now in a preliminary, does that take away the savings you could possibly have by getting a preliminary and not doing them all, and then redefining what you got? So you might be able to reduce the savings in the final design?
You could, but
Or get them more specific to where you actually need more borings?
that's, the latter is actually the objective, is to not do work where it otherwise wouldn't be necessary once the preliminary layout has been done. Because the way it would have to take place is the survey and boring work would have to happen simultaneous to laying out the proposed pipe locations. And inevitably, you could have borings and survey work done in areas where there'll be no proposed pipe. So it is a relatively standard practice to go forward and lay out the pipe, produce a preliminary design for that, and then do your limited survey and boring work as part of the preliminary design report, and then you'll know where your final locations are so that you can finish the rest of the survey and the boring work during final design.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Go Dave.
Do we have employees out tonight helping with the fire and water control with basins and such? Do we have people available for that?
Well, on the water side, we have crews fixing water breaks.
I'm saying specifically to the fire where
No, I think what Dave's trying to get across is, we gotta keep some of these catch basins opened up and clear so these, streets can drain.
Yeah, we have an emergency guy in the sewer department. I'm not sure if Larry has additional employees in from the sewer, but there's quite a few water guys working on breaks. But we can certainly contact Larry, who's not here tonight, and see that we have enough people adequate to take care of the catch basins.
Well, I mean, you probably should, in that area, right, you know, adjacent
So
to the
that they-
fire.
Yeah, he has a guy on, and if the guy needed help, he would generally call Larry, and Larry would approve additional people coming on, so.
Because I did see them mention when I was watching on the news about the water collecting and causing issues, so.
Yeah, no, that's a valid concern. No one's called me and said they need more people. They typically goes through Larry Harris, the superintendent, and then Larry approves the personnel if necessary.
We can take care of that tonight.
Sure.
Can you, put down that, Clue you showed up for the meeting? That we're just talking about clearing the basins in the area where the fire is,
Okay.
so we can get some drainage there possibly,
Yeah.
that was the discussion.
Sure.
And you didn't miss much of anything else.
Thank you, Billy. Thanks for that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
just want to say, good work, Counselor, for being in your ward when you need it, where you need it, for the emergency, to make sure everything's working.
Thank you.
That's a good counselor.
Thank you.
You wanna add to that, or you gonna let it go?
Yeah.
Enough said.
Okay. All right, anything on the new business? Go ahead, Dave.
I just want to say that all our prayers are with the emergency response team that's out there tonight and the residents, that everything will work out.
Well, did you have something you wanted to share with us?
No, I'm just concerned that they don't overlook those borings. If they're necessary, they should be done.
Yeah, they will. They're not gonna, believe me, Anthony isn't gonna, Marino isn't gonna let that go by. He's staying right on top of it.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made, second. All those in favor? Aye.